The Latino man that I am, who fully understands to be a citizen of a nation which is mostly governed and driven by the powers of white supremacy. When Trump first came into the political scene, which at the time I was an evangelical pastor within the white conservative circles, I began to go through what I call now an intimate process of personal awakening and liberation. It was during that time of life-changing growth that I began to realize that to continue to force myself into being someone who I really was never meant to be, just so I could be conditionally included and accepted by the powers of white supremacy, was no longer something I was willing to do. So, having said that, here are 4 things I no longer do, as I'm personally choosing to be free from the claws of white supremacy. First, whenever I happen to be speaking my own native language with another fellow Spanish speaker, or perhaps I'm listening to my Spanish music and I see white supremacy coming towards me, I no longer stop speaking my native tongue or lower the volume of my radio just so that white supremacy isn't either inconvenienced or offended by it. The way I look at it now, if you are a member of white supremacy and you feel offended by my native language, you could always go to school and learn Spanish so you could then be included in my personal conversations. In the meantime, if I have anything to say to you or about you, I could certainly tell you in English like I'm doing right now. As to my music, I just have a question for you. Have I ever asked you to lower the volume of yours? Secondly, there was a time in my life when I honestly thought that if I worked hard on improving my accent to white supremacist standard of expectation, that I could then be fully included into its self-given advantages and privileges. Looking back now, how enslaved I really was to their bullshit, and all while thinking to be free in their version of Christianity. After my awakening though, I no longer try to change my accent for anyone. If you don't like how I talk, you can always kiss my acento de plátano ass. Early, as someone who can easily be white passing, so long as I keep my mouth shut, there was a time in my life when white supremacy will feel comfortable enough around me to be spouting all kinds of ugly racist shit about other minority groups. At the time, for fear of being shown away and excluded, I would choose then to stay quiet, which I'm now even ashamed to admit. I don't do that shit anymore. In fact, ever since my awakening, most of them no longer want anything to do with me anyhow, since I'm now here airing all of their shit-stained dirty laundry for the entire world to see. And lastly but not least, whenever I'm asked today where I'm from, I am now 100% proud to unapologetically shout with my chest all out, I am a boricua from Carolina, Puerto Rico, pa' que tú lo sepas. Stay woke, gente. Dale.